Today is July 10th, 2021. Out at Strasburg, Pennsylvania to chase and ride the Norfolk and Western 611 today. There she is. Pride of the N&W, built in Roanoke shops by the N&W in 1950. The last Class J 484 ever built. The Class J's were capable of traveling at 140 miles an hour, but routinely east of Petersburg, Virginia with their passenger trains, they travel at 100 miles an hour. They don't go quite so fast today, but this is the last surviving example of this magnificent 484 locomotive. Undoubtedly my favorite steam locomotive of all time, but I would have to give the UP 844 and the Big Boy and the Challenger a run for the money. And this crew has a long day ahead. First trip is at 11 a.m. Right now it's only 9:50, so got plenty of time. They'll be running the 475 on alternate trains today. Last trip this 611 will pull is at 7 p.m. That's the one I'll be riding on.
What? Where did he come from?
Oh, it's Fulmer City here. Kind of hard to take pictures without getting in somebody's way. Listen to the air pumps on that engine. Notice the cylinder with the J medallion on it. That's the class type. N&W always had the class type on the cylinders. N&W had Class A 2664s, Class Y 2882s, Class K 482s, to name a few. How about that bell? That's the schedule for today. The trains that leave every 90 minutes on the hour and on the half hour, those are the 6:11 trains. The alternate trains at 45 and 15 are going to be powered by another N&W engine, number 475, 480. Busy day today. The last two trains at 5 and 7 will be 6:11. The safety valve is programmed to go off at a certain pressure point to lower the pressure. Usually lowers at about 10 psi before it shuts off. The Strasburg Railroad, it's about 4.5 miles long through the scenic Amish country of Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. Been around since the 1960s, I believe. And they've had a bevy of steam locomotives on this railroad, but this engine takes the cake. The second biggest engine is Great Western 210 number 90. They also have former Canadian National 260 number 89. They have N&W 480, 475, which was temporarily renumbered to 382. A couple of years ago when they ran in conjunction with the 611 when that was here 2 years ago for revenue trips and photo charters, both of which I participated in. It's had 060 number 31, a Canadian National engine. It's had an 040 number 4, I think that was a former Reading engine. Also had former Pennsylvania Railroad engines, 440 number 1223 and 442 Atlantic number 7002. The latter two reside across the street in the museum. It's a great little railroad, probably the most famous railroad in the USA, arguably. And you can see the ladder they put up to the cab. They're conducting numerous cab tours of the 611. My friend and I are going to be on one of those cab tours later today. $11 his first trip to paradise. After he leaves, the 475 will come in and get his equipment for his departure at 11:45. When he leaves here at 11:45, he'll meet this train in the siding just west of here, or east of here. And you heard that patented N&W Class J steamboat whistle. And there's N&W 475, a 480 class. He's going to be operating the alternate schedules. You heard his N&W style hooter whistle. He's going to pick up his equipment, which is sitting in the yard over there. There's steam in all sizes and shapes and gauges. Well, here at Strasburg is pretty much pre-pandemic Strasburg Railroad operations. Great to see. Crowds are here, maskless, 2 trains running. It's wonderful to see that, in addition to having the 611 be here. And 475 is pulling the equipment for his 1145 trip out of the storage yard beyond the water tank. Going to do a saw-by move here. 475 is an M class. That's what N&W called these 480s, M class engines. These were branch line engines primarily. Engines like this operated on the Virginia Creeper in southern Virginia. If you ever want to hear what one of those sounded like in N&W Revenue Service, get the O Winston Link record album or CD, The Fading Giant. There are a couple of examples of that locomotive in operation on that branch. Here we move further east to the crossing by the Red Caboose Motel, the famous Red Caboose Motel. They have numerous cabooses on the site, which are guest lodgings. Place is jumping today. You never know the pandemic even existed around here. Beautiful rural countryside here. Corn crop is doing well. You know that old expression, knee high on the 4th of July? Well, those are way higher than my knee, and I'm 6'3". And here comes the 11 o'clock train back to Strasburg with the 611. He's taking it kind of easy. He's going to meet 475 on the siding in the yard. The safety valve is popping. Heavily patronized indeed. And at 11:58, here comes the 11:45 train out of Strasburg with the 475 running a bit late. 611 was late arriving, so in turn, this guy's late leaving. Well, we move further east, the Cherry Hill crossing. We're just west of the siding at Groff's Grove. We're here to catch a couple of steam trains. Actually three. Population 17 more or less. Well, it's a lot more than 17 now, with the farm tour wagon ride grounds and corn maze open for business big time. Back there is the maze, way back there on the hillside. Great to see people back here again. Last summer was a disaster. And this is deciding in normal times they have meets here in the summer, but not now. They're having them just east of the station at Strasburg. You'll note the switch in the foreground. It's a spring switch. Normally it's open, favoring Paradise-bound trains, but now the spring switch is lying straight. And here comes 475 heading back to Strasburg at 12:28. Get some good stack torque here. May not look like the Virginia Creeper, but it sure sounds like it. And here comes the 12:30 train out of Strasburg with the 611. Tender first. You'll note the observation car, letter for the Philadelphia and Reading, predecessor to the Reading Company, now part of the east end of the Harrisburg line of Norfolk Southern. We move to the east end of the Strasburg at Paradise. Strasburg tracks are on the left, and on the right is Amtrak's Harrisburg line. Get one of the steam trains reversing here and get both Amtrak Pennsylvanians. And this is the site of a virtual rail fan camera. And here comes the 1245 train at Paradise. You're going to run around with the 475. The Pennsylvanian from Philadelphia to Pittsburgh. Now coming east at 152 is Amtrak 42, the Pennsylvanian from Pittsburgh to New York, not Philadelphia. Train 43 that passes from New York to Pittsburgh. tracks putting on a show for the fans. And we move back further west by Carpenter's Cemetery. This is Black Horse Road crossing. Be back shortly. still sticking around at Espenshades Crossings near the Espenshade Turkey Farm. And this house is very cat friendly. And at 3:38, here comes 611 on his 3:30 departure, passing Espenshade Crossing. What's the matter? Too hot? Yeah, I know, life's a bitch. Tell me about it. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Any minute I expect to see Beeb and Adelaide come out on the porch. And Uncle Joe, he's moving kind of slow at the junction. Yeah, there are definitely a lot of dinosaurs around here today. But this is the best one by far.
Hey there. We'll start on the engineer side. This is the power reverser. You move this forward and it'll go forward. Move this back and it'll go back. And then they'll adjust it whenever we're running for steam usage. This handle right here is one or two methods of putting water in the boiler. This is the injector. It uses steam pressure to move water straight from the tender straight into the boiler. And we usually use it when we're sitting still because it kills pressure real good. This is the throttle. It's basically the gas pedal for the steam engine. You open up the throttle and there's these little valves on the front that open up and the steam goes to the cylinders. That's how this works. This is the cylinder cocks. There are two on each cylinder. Water cannot compress. If we don't open these up before we move, water can hit and it can either break the piston or cylinder. Anyway, very expensive. So we leave these open while we're sitting, and we open the throttle to watch for the water to come out, and once it's dry steam, we'll shut it back off. These are the air appliances for the train. This is the bell. You pull the valve out, ringy dingy dingy, and then you push it in and it'll stop. These are the sanders for each driver on the locomotive. Sometimes the engine slips and lose traction, and the sand goes right in the wheels to give it traction. These two are the brakes. This is the train brake, which sets the brakes for the locomotive and the train itself. And then this is the independent brake, which is just for the locomotive itself, and they use it to keep the train stretched, slow it down, and however else they need it to do. And move over here. This is the water column. These are all the water appliances for the boiler. This is the water glass, which tells how much water is in the boiler. And if for some reason the glass breaks or something links to where we can't use this anymore, this is where these come to play, which are tricocks, which you open this up and you see where the water is in relation to these knobs. This is the turret. This is the manifold. You open this up and it basically shows for the steam gauges and stuff like that to be able to use the appliances. This is the dynamo that powers the lights and electricity through the train. And of course, this is the firebox. You can take a look in here.
Ooh.
Inside the firebox. And with the firebox being so big, we can't hand fire, but it's physically impossible to hand fire. So this is what the stoker's for. There's a steam engine underneath here that turns the shaft, runs the screw from underneath the tender through here, and feeds it into the firebox. And the controls are over here. This is for the stoker engine itself. You regulate how fast the screw will move. And this is the stoker blast. And the stoker blast is the jets right out here that spread the coal out throughout the firebox. And I'll demonstrate it to you right quick. We'll turn the jets up to about 50 psi. Turn it on like this. And take a taste, see how it works. That's basically all that it does. And that's how we manage the fire for the engineer. This handle right here is the second method of putting water into the boiler. This is a feed water system, which is a steam-powered little pump that moves water to the front of the engine into this tank in the smoke box, where it preheats it and the water goes into the boiler from there. And we mainly use this whenever we're moving, because with the warm water it won't kill the pressure as bad. And this handle right here is the blower. When we're sitting still, there's no draft. And if we don't use this, the smoke and the fire will come out to the side. Anyway, it's not very good. And so this creates the draft, which is basically a ring by where the exhaust comes out, and it blows steam out the stack to create the draft to the firebox. I know I just spoke pretty quick, but do you have any questions or anything?
I have two questions.
Okay.
Are they planning on putting any PTC equipment in this engine, and are they planning maybe to possibly turn it into an oil burner?
I don't have a clue. I don't know what the plan for it is. As far as I know, I don't know. But any other questions?
No, I think I'm good.
Yeah,
Pretty neat.
very good.
Thank you for coming and supporting 611.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. I'm zoomed out, so.
I'm gonna ask him to blow the horn. I'm gonna ask him to blow the whistle.
They're gonna do it because they're in the crossings this one.
Yeah.
And they might add to it.
Maybe we'll get a mini horn show.
No, that won't happen. Especially who's running it today.
I'm gonna go back to
611 trip today. Leaves at 7 p.m. Right behind the engine. Coming up to Cherry Hill. coming up to Black Horse Road. This is where we'll stop and do the ghost whistle. The beautiful echo. That bell is right through that mesh. Ah, Freddie! Coming into Paradise, the end of the line. And we'll run around the train. There's Amtrak's Harrisburg line. This is the Lehman Place on Amtrak.
done.
It's a humid Sunday morning. It's 11:41 a.m. We're at the Strasburg station, or East Strasburg station, in time to catch the 11 a.m. 611 excursion, heading back to Strasburg, seeing pass by this historic classic water tank. And 611's coming in.
Train number 110 to Susquehanna. Track number 2.
The unmistakable steamboat type whistle of the 611. All the Class J's from 600 to 613 had those steamboat whistles. They all were tuned differently. None of them sounded the same. I've heard recordings of them, and they're as various as the number of J-class locomotives themselves.
Everybody back up on the red list. On the red list.
Hey there. Hey there. Hello. The 611 just disconnected. He's going to run around the train and couple up to the east end.
Well, there might be some people.
Coming, Jared.
Did you walk through? So we must have walked through right after you guys walked out.